Cheers. Oh. Ooh.
Welcome back to another episode of Offseason Fun. I am your host, or two drunk guys in a football podcast, Offseason Fun. I am your host, Marcus the Hammer Mary.
And I am Skinny Domestic. We're doing a live stream for this today. It's definitely something that I think we're going to be looking at doing more often. Um, with live streaming.
Uncut,
Yeah, uncut.
unfiltered.
Yeah, uncut. Just try something different, especially with how busy our schedules are. Like, clearly, today, this episode is our draft recap. And the draft happened almost 2 weeks ago. So we've just been busy. We haven't really had a chance to do this. And
No.
with how things are potentially going to be going for the near future for us in terms of our jobs and everything with family, we're going to try to start live streaming them because it saves some editing time, all that other stuff, upload, all that. Unfortunately, can't quit our jobs and do this full time.
No,
So,
maybe one day.
yeah, maybe one day if we get big enough. Keep sharing us. 112 subscribers, guys. We're doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so with that, like I said, this episode is just going to be a draft recap, discuss our favorite teams' picks, maybe some shockers, both higher, lower, and it's kind of BS, I guess. You know, nothing major for this one. And then we won't have an episode for a while. We will be live streaming like our Dynasty League drafts, maybe in, I think, June,
Come up in the
maybe.
next month probably.
And then as we get closer to like the actual football season, we'll start back up again, live stream both of our drafts with, or at least his draft, like we normally do, and then get back into the regular stuff end of July, early August for weekly episodes. So why don't we get started, Marcus, with your beautiful Minnesota Vikings and what they did.
First round, the Vikings. Oops, let me get to it. I apologize. The Vikings had not a lot of draft capital in this draft. Vikings draft picks. Sorry, I gotta pull it up. Okay. So we came in and we took Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, first round, 24th pick. A lot of people are going to say it's an overdraft. And I'm probably not going to disagree, but if they drafted Donovan Jackson the 24th overall and insert other offensive linemen in the draft and other positions of need, they must have loved the guy. I mean, he played for a big program. He's a national champion. Like, obviously, he was a big part of what they did there and helped protect the quarterback and make the run game go. I mean, they had two running backs drafted in this draft, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Judkins and what's his face, Henderson, and both second, third round picks, right?
Yeah.
So not bad considering all the talent in the draft. So I'm okay with it. Could they have done better? Maybe they could have traded back, but it wasn't too bad. Third round, 102nd overall pick. They took Ty Felton from Maryland. And I believe he's a speedster. So I don't know why they took a wide receiver. I don't hate the pick. I think that he's okay and he could have potential. And we usually do pretty good with later round pick wide receivers. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen was undrafted. Jarius Wright was later round. Like, we usually do just fine with that. So I'm okay with that. I mean, I didn't feel like we needed a wide receiver. I feel like we need a DB, but they must really think that they're going to get like Emmanuel or Asante Samuel Jr. or something like that. They must think that they're going to make another big signing before the end of the year.
Yeah, save some money.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea what they think they're going to do. 139th pick in the 5th round. They took Tyron Ingram Dawkins from Georgia, defensive lineman, just to boost up that defensive line and kind of make it a little bit better. We did get a lot of, I mean, we spent a lot of free agency money on boosting up our defensive line, so get some youth in there, but they are old. I mean, we're talking about 31 and 32, so
You know it's
get
bad
some
that
youth.
we haven't shotgunned in so long because you got the fucking hiccups.
I know.
Got all that air.
Now I'm trying to burp it out, man. Um, and then 6th round, 201st pick, we took linebacker Kobe King from Penn State. I don't think he's going to do much besides everyone besides Donovan Jackson is probably going to be on the bench. Ty Felton may be able to compete for the wide receiver 3 or 4. I don't know. We did pick up the guy from the Cardinals, and then I can't remember where he played last year. The wide receiver, he got traded for somewhere. He's a gadget player. I can't think of Rondale Moore. So I just don't foresee him being the third or fourth maybe the fourth wide receiver,
Well,
but we'll see.
could be a special teams guy. Punt, kick return.
Yeah, and I think Kobe King will be a special teams guy. He's a Penn State linebacker. He's pretty decent. And then 202nd pick, we take Gavin Bartholomew from Pitt, and we needed another tight end. I'm not gonna lie, we lost a couple tight ends in free agency. I think we still have Josh Oliver and TJ Hawkinson, but after that we lost Johnny Munt. And Johnny Munt played a lot. We throw a lot to our tight ends. So, and that was the Vikings pick. It's hard to say with the Vikings if they had a good draft pick or not. I think off-season overall the Vikings did a really good job, but the draft they kind of filled all the holes and spent the money they needed to be successful, and we didn't have a lot of draft capital. I would wished that they would have traded more because I think we went into the draft with 4 picks and we left with 4 picks, right? Or 5, I guess. Yeah, 5 picks.
5.
So we gained 1 more pick. And I
Yeah.
don't feel like we made any splashes. I'd love to get us to have a DB or a safety in that area at 24, but I'm going to trust what the Vikings have going on and trust that it's going to bolster our offensive line. Will be a top 5 line this year.
Yeah. Unlike the former Super Bowl winning champions, the Eagles, they had 10 picks. They traded and traded and traded. It was every time that
Yeah.
we got up, I was like, all right, how he's gonna do it? And then the only reason why he trade, like I guess a lot of people do it, but you're the guy that you truly wanted gets drafted right before you or something. Um, so that's why we were trading back, and then we were getting somebody that we liked better at a different spot. But round 1, pick 31, we took linebacker Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. He was a guy
It
that
was a good pick.
fell far. I thought he for sure would have at least gone top 20 with his ability. I mean, I would say out of the draft, he's probably a top 5 talent. He had 184 career tackles. His biggest year was last year, 117 in 2024, 5.5 sacks overall, 5 in 2025, 2 career interceptions and a forced fumble. The nice thing about him is he's both a decent coverage linebacker, a true linebacker, but then he can also come off the edge and rush. So it'll be nice to have him learning from like Zach Bond and those guys. And that pick just kind of shows me too that like some of those guys that we have in that position aren't where Howie wants them to be, or it forces them to step up a little bit so you don't lose your job to this guy. But because our linebacker position out of everything has maybe besides 2 years ago has probably been our worst position. So I think the Bucks should have drafted him and taken care of got old ass Levante David's predecessor taken care of, but I guess not. Which we are now officially the Eagles with the A being Alabama logo and the G being the Georgia Bulldogs logo because we have a fuck ton of both of those teams on our roster now.
Yeah.
Round 2, pick 64, we took safety Andrew Mukuba out of Texas. I watched a lot of him
Mm.
because he was with with playing for Texas. I watched a lot of Texas the last couple of years. Um, we needed a
He's
safety.
a big Texas guy.
Uh, Gardner Johnson's gone, and then outside of Blankenship, we have a lot. Like he's young still too, but um, Chase Brown's brothers, Sidney Brown, hasn't really played a lot, and when he hasn't shown much for us. Started at Clemson, then moved to Texas. He had 212 career tackles, 6 interceptions. He led the conference last year with 5. He's a small, versatile, big hitter. Do you remember the Texas Georgia game when Beck got rocked?
Mm-hmm.
That was him that did that. Like just
Oh,
fucking like
really?
knocked his helmet off. Yeah, that was him. So I'm excited for the big hitting safety because Reed Blankenship's a good safety, but he's not like a big hitter. Like I'm ready for those Brian Docking, uh, Troy Polamalu. Maybe not as big, but I
Can
don't.
you hear that?
We miss it.
The thing
We
that's
miss
on
it.
your doggone chest.
Then we
Yeah.
didn't have a third round pick. Round 4, we took defensive tackle Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. He had 134 tackles, 12 sacks, quick, strong hands, and works the edges well. So he's a guy that can line up, move him outside every now and then type thing, mix up our defensive front. And I mean, he gets to learn from Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. So we're gonna have a good wrecking crew there. Then we had 4 fifth round picks coming into it. We traded a couple, so we only ended up with 3. We took DB Mac McWilliams out of Central Florida. Started off at UAB, went to UCF. 133 tackles. The thing that worries me a little bit is he only had 2 interceptions his whole college career. He had 25 pass defense though, and he's more of a slot corner with his quick speediness. So a guy like Cooper DeJean doesn't get stuck there all game, and that kind of was a big factor for us last year, being able to guard those slot players, um, especially when you're playing teams like the Seahawks with JSN, Cooper Kupp, those bigger receivers in the slot. Not bigger, I mean big named. Sorry. Then we took a linebacker out of Georgia, Samael Munden, another Georgia boy. That defense. Um, 212 tackles, 8 sacks, 1 interception. He's a pass coverage guy, but definitely better in the pass coverage than he is stopping the run game. But he could play that whole field, sideline to sideline, pretty well. Um, Again, just another backup piece for us there. Then we drafted. They list him as a center guard, Drew Kendall from Boston College, but all he played in college was center. So I'm not too sure about how that's going to go. Um, and he's just really much of a run blocker with his size. He's not very big, but it's good to have a backup center. So I'll take it. um, then round 6 we had 4 6 round picks. We took quarterback Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. I really wanted Quinn Ewers or Will Howard, but I guess not. Um, he started off at OSU. He led the FBS in passing in this last year with almost 4,800 passing yards, and he had 592 pass attempts. Insane. He had 34 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He's definitely a pocket passer. Wants to push the ball down the field. You want to hear the craziest stat that I saw when I was looking him up?
What?
He finished his college career with negative 142 rushing yards.
What the fuck? Really? It's pretty easy to do that in college, though.
Yeah, but just get a couple like plus rushes and he averaged like minus almost 4 yards a carry type thing. Like it's I thought that was funny. Come on,
Yeah.
I'd have to go look at like guys like Peyton Manning, see what they were at, see if that was.
I bet Peyton Manning had a positive rushing year.
Well,
But
I'm
it is harder in college, though.
gonna look real quick.
You got like a Brady, man.
Well, Brady barely played.
He played enough.
All right. He finished with. Oh, he finished with negative 181. So I guess.
That's what I mean. If you take a sack and you don't run first, like
Yeah, that's true. He finished with 6 total yards in 1995. So
in the NFL to take negative yards, you have to be buns, man.
yeah, okay.
I don't even know if it's possible to take negative yards as a quarterback.
Well, unless it's like a
Designed run, but how do
maybe
you tell
yeah
if it's a run or they're trying to evade the sack? I don't know.
yeah. I guess the only thing would be is you never scramble and you do kneel downs type thing. That's about it.
Yep, that's about it. Yeah, you're right.
Um, our next pick was tackle Miles Hinton out of Michigan. He's a mobile tackle. He's just another big dude, 6'7", 323. We like those big linemen. Then a couple picks later, we took tackle Cameron Williams out of Texas. All I can say about him is just power, like just a lot of power. Everything else needs work done, but just a lot of power. And then our last pick was outside linebacker Antoine Powell Ryland out of Virginia Tech. He had 117 tackles. He had 30 sacks in his career, 16 just last year. And he's got a bag full of just pass rush moves. For a guy that's speedy, usually they just rely on their legs, try to get around the guy. But he has a lot of a deep bag of pass rush moves. His problem is he's got really short arms compared to other people. So trying to do that will be interesting. I the Jahad Campbell out like the Jahad Campbell pick is a fucking steal. That's an A plus. I don't care what anybody says. Um, Other than that, we just filled in like we needed safety, needed D line, needed DB, needed linebacker. We filled in the pieces that we needed. In terms of what was there at the time, I'd have to go back and look and see some of these picks, but I'd probably give us a B plus, A minus in terms of our draft. I don't think we really reached for anybody in terms of where they were at, or like I said, how he likes to. Like one guy he wants is gone. He could draft the guy that he wants, or trade back 4 picks and then get him at a better value, I guess, than 4 picks. I was
That's
really,
fair.
I was really hoping that the Browns wouldn't have taken Sanders because we were going to draft him in the 5th round. Um, but night one, I was 27 for 32 on players being drafted. Maybe not to the right teams, but I was right on 27 players getting drafted in the 1st round. So I feel proud of myself.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Um, that'll be interesting to see how some of these picks, like you said, they were just more roster additions, and maybe some of them could see some time. Who knows?
Yeah.
Kind of rely more on injuries, clearly. Um, so I have
Shall
three
we talk about?
shockers. Oh, what?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, no, no.
I said, should we talk about the? There's a couple picks that I did not like in the 1st round. Not that I didn't necessarily like the players, but landy spots for some of these guys.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hear them.
McMillan would be one of them at 8 to Carolina. I just don't feel like with his skill set. I like Bryce Young, but I don't like Bryce Young. Like he's someone that I was really excited if he was going to go to like a New Orleans or somewhere where they have a quarterback. Then I mean, Derek Carr's okay, but just somewhere where they could get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I just am not sold on Bryce Young quite yet. I liked Bryce Young, and I thought that he had a good bounce back at the end of last season, but there's a lot of bodies to feed in Carolina, and I just do not like that for a skill set and everything.
Yeah, I felt like it was a lot of like you have all. I get it. He's probably going to be your best receiver in terms of ability, maybe in the long run. Um, but like you have Adam Thielen, you have Xavier Leggett, you like there's just a lot of wide receivers in that room. He'll beat out a guy or two. Um, Clearly, with being that high of a pick, you could have went defense. There was so much defense in this draft, especially top talent at that pick. Could have taken somebody that really could have helped bounce back that defense, which is what you probably really needed more. And like Bryce Young likes Adam Thielen. Bryce Young was getting a connection, chemistry with Xavier Leggett. Like
Yep.
those things can be worked on. Your offense is
You,
whatever, but if your defense is going to give up a score every drive, pretty much, Bryce Young's not going to win a shootout. It doesn't matter
no.
who's on that offensive side with him.
Oh, get a lineman, get literally a defensive any defensive player, it'd be okay. But it is what it is. I also wasn't a big fan of the Shamar Stewart pick by Cincinnati at 17. I think that he's super talented, but and I understand why they did that. Sam Hubbard retires, who whatever, and then obviously Trey Hendrickson is up in the air of what they're going to do. But at pick 17, they took Shamar Stewart, who's very questionable, who has all the athletic ability, but just did not pan out in college. Which you could have had a bona fide stud who has issues, but I mean, You could have had James Pierce Jr. Man,
Could have
like
had
you could have
Mike
had
Green too. I mean, I
yeah,
get Mike Green has
Mike
his
Green.
issues, but what players don't have issues in some capacity? Some
You could have
worse
had
than others.
Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks would have been a good pick. Any of the safeties, like there's so many picks there, and you picked a guy that is, to me, Shamar Stewart should have been a second round pick. He has the athletic ability, but he did not pan out in college. He just didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, hell, you
and then
could have.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, you could have taken uh, Barron out of Texas at DB, D tackle, Derek Harmon,
Mm-hmm.
like um, James Pierce Jr. I feel like James Pierce Jr. would have been a stretch at 17 still, but like yeah, Malachi Starks, um,
I
Jahad
mean,
Campbell
still,
even. I mean, like there, I
there's
and
so many talented players
and
on
Green
defense.
Green should have gone earlier, but his allegations kind of
That
impact
was a
that. But
shocker to me, but I
yeah,
didn't know that. And then my last one is actually, and it's not because of the player, it's because what they traded up for is the Atlanta Falcons getting James Pierce Jr. So I like James Pierce Jr. and I like that the Falcons went and got their guys, except for the fact that they gave up a first round pick last year and the 46th pick this year. So they gave up that much draft capital for James Pierce Jr., which I understand. I just thought it was quite a bit to get back into the first round.
yeah. When what what pick would they have in the second round? Do you remember? They
Um,
traded to the Giants, right?
so they gave them, let's see. So I think they gave him 2 first round picks. They jumped up from 46 to 26, and they gave their 2026 first round pick. Let me look and see.
And that was to the Rams.
I think so. Let me look. Let me look for sure at the trade details. Did Atlanta give
Yeah, I'm not
up?
going to say anything, but if they would have just sat there and waited, Mike Green was still available.
I know.
Nick Scorton was available. Uh, Aladejo from UCLA. Like, these are all guys that probably, I would say, are very comparable to James Pierce Jr., and you could have gotten them in the second round.
So let's
That's
see.
that's crazy to me.
Screw off. Why does it not want me to find this? This should not be that hard to find. Okay, get off
Yeah, trade from
this.
Atlanta, 46
Did
to
you?
the Rams. I found it.
What all they give up? They at least gave a first round pick and then.
Oh, you were looking for that. I didn't look for the trade package or anything. I just saw that who they traded.
But I mean, yeah, I mean with that, with the value that was there, I mean there was other people that they could have grabbed.
Yeah,
And I mean this draft was so filled with defensive talent. Like it was defense and running back, and if you didn't get either one of them, you were fucking up. Which the Vikings barely got any defensive
yeah.
players or no running backs
Hell, you
there.
could have been like, all right, 46. I hear the Cowboys and Colts are about to take the Boston College guy and then Ohio State uh, Tuamalu. You could have been like, all right, I'm going to trade up in front of them and get the guy that they wanted, or you just wait for Nick Scorton, Aladejo, or Mike Green. I mean, Mike Green was a first round talent and fell to 59. Like, take the bite on some of these. Take the chances.
All right, let's see what they do. So they gave them the 26 overall pick and the 101 pick for 2026 first round pick, 2025 46 overall pick, and their seventh round pick, which didn't matter. So they gave him a first and a second round pick for a first round pick and a 101 pick in the draft, which would have been what, third round ish.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
way
then
too
the
much. Way too
and
much
on
to.
top of it, I like James Pierce Jr. He's got a lot of question marks. It wasn't like he was someone like Jahad Campbell who just fell. You know what I mean? He was someone that had a lot of question marks.
Yep. I would say he was
So,
very comparable to those other guys that went right around the 46 pick.
and then my last one, who wasn't a first round pick, but I just want to mention it. It's got to be Dylan Gabriel going before Shadir Sanders to the Browns. Like you could have had Sanders and then used that pick on someone else. Like I know that everyone was trying to teach the Sanders family a lesson of like, you don't run this shit. We're the owners. We choose who we want. We pick where people go. But still, like, come on now.
Yeah, taking Dylan Gabriel did not like. I didn't even think he'd go that high anyway. You could have gotten the safeties, Xavier Watts. Like I just feel like there was a lot more things that
Yeah.
you could
Well,
have
he went in
gotten.
the third round, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like Dylan Gabriel, like I get it. I think that he's threw the fastest. I saw that he threw the fastest pass in college football last year, or like even in the NFL. Like he threw a ball like 76 miles per hour or something insane like
yeah.
that. But then again, like dude was a Heisman hopeful, didn't come anywhere close to it. Had an okay season. Like I don't know.
Well, and he's
In the
been on
big
successful. I mean, he's been on successful teams. It's just I just don't think he's gonna. He's not very mobile. Like he's not very. And
for his size, you got to be mobile.
yeah, and he's not a Russ or a Drew Brees type thing either. Like I just don't think that's
No,
gonna
I
happen.
don't think so either.
If you knew you're gonna hold off to take Sanders potentially later, should have done something else. I agree. Um, yeah, I mean clearly I don't think Ashton Genty should have been a top 10 pick, but that I'm probably one of the very few to say that. Uh,
Are you gonna
taking
say it here? Is Hampton better than Genty?
no, I don't think either. I think Caleb Johnson's the best running back out of that draft class.
You really do.
I truly think Caleb Johnson's a better running back. Um, Colston Loveland getting drafted over Tyler Warren was crazy to me too. Uh,
Oh, that was a bad pick. I forgot about Colston Loveland. Yeah, that was okay. Bears fans, you're gonna hate me, but it's okay. It's better be hated than or feared than loved. But fuck Colston Loveland. I'm saying it right now. Colston Loveland. I don't know what the Bears thought they were doing. I guess he can block a little bit better than Warren, but why did you take a tight end once you legitimately have a top 15 tight end in Cole Kmet? You could have taken a running back. You could have taken anything on the defense. And honestly, guys, I'm going to just say it. You don't have the best offensive line in the North. You did some things. Keep fixing it. You could have, like, I don't know what the hell the Bears think they're doing.
yeah,
That front office is dumb.
yeah, you could have had Tyler Booker,
Yep.
Gray Zabel
You're
would have probably
preaching.
been a little bit of reach, but I mean even yeah, Donovan Jackson
What
going there like yeah you had your opportunity.
literally anything. Like your defense still probably needs some help. Your offense could still use help. What does Kalen Williams need? The second best tight end in the draft that's a little bit better at blocking than the other one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
oh yeah, and you know what we need? We need another wide receiver. Let's take in the second round Luther Burden, Stephon Diggs Jr. 2.0. And you know what we shouldn't do, Skinny? We shouldn't get him any offensive line help, any defensive back help, any defensive linebackers, anything else the Bears need because you know what? They weren't a good team last year. Remember the Caleb Williams experience that didn't work out?
Yeah, I'm looking to see they took a linebacker in the fourth,
You know?
fifth. They I don't have it by team. I'm just looking. Didn't have a fifth rounder. Dude, what's crazy to me was watching the fall off of Ollie Gordon out of Oklahoma State. Dude was arguably one of the better running backs in the league like a year or two ago, and then fell to the sixth round this year.
Yeah, I
And
know.
and
Him, if he would have gone to last year's draft, he would have done so much
yeah,
better. And you know
yeah,
who else? Quinn
yeah,
Ewers. Quinn Ewers would have been a first round pick last year, or at most a second round pick. Remember, I'm betting on myself, Quinn Ewers. Well,
yeah.
that bet did not work out, and I don't think Quinn Ewers had that bad of a year last year.
No, and he just fell to the seventh.
He was hurt, I guess, but not like anything crazy. It wasn't
Yeah,
like he tore his ACL or
he
anything.
was one of my shockers falling to the seventh. Him and Sanders, fall. Sanders, I don't think is a great quarterback. I don't think he was a first round quarterback. But to see him go after the third, it's like, what are you guys doing at this point? Like
Dude,
he definitely has shown
Sanders,
he
I'm
has
just
the
gonna say it.
capabilities to play.
Jackson Dart better than Sanders.
I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Jackson Dart, so I can't really speak on that. Like Sanders was on TV pretty much every goddamn week, so I was able to
Hey,
watch him play.
I was right though. I did say that Jackson Dart would be a first round pick. I just didn't know Shadur Sanders wouldn't be a first round pick.
Yeah, and then my last one, my other shot, like Ewers falling to the seventh round is crazy because the other quarterbacks that were going in front of him were just ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't have Kyle McCord going before him. Will Howard could have. Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame wasn't even anything spectacular, and fucking got drafted before him. Graham Mertz out of Florida, who
The
wasn't good.
Louisville quarterback in the second round, that was
Yeah,
insane.
Cam Miller out of North Dakota State, drafted before Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was. If they were giving Quinn Ewers, like he wasn't all talk or anything, but like what? Curtis Roke out of
But
Indiana. Like, what the fuck is going on with some of these teams?
you know what other teams had good drafts though?
I like the
I
Steelers.
got to shout out. The Steelers had a good draft, and I respect them taking who they wanted. I also respect the hell out of the Cardinals draft.
Yeah,
Walter Knoll, fucking stud, and then taking the second best DB in the draft and the 47th pick. I don't care what injury history he has.
yeah, he was
Like,
one of my shockers for falling too. Like
yeah,
I feel like either I mean clearly we don't get the scouting reports and injury reports that all these other teams like the true people like the owners and all that stuff get, but I feel like his injury can't be that bad. It's but like
oh,
especially when you're going to go to
oh.
NFL type doctors and training. I feel like he would have been fine because he should have been 100% a top 20 pick.
Then the Ravens, dude. The Ravens coming out here. Malachi Starks, pick 27.
Dude,
Mike Green, pick 59.
yeah,
Pick 59 for Mike Green. I don't care who Mike Green.
if he doesn't get
What
if he
Mike
does
Green did.
if his Chargers basically go away or aren't anything crazy, that defense is going to be even scarier. You got Kyle Hamilton with Malachi
Oh yeah,
Starks. Oof.
yeah, and then the Steelers coming in here. Derek Harmon from Oregon, defensive tackle. Caleb Johnson from Iowa at pick 83. You got Jack Sawyer at edge from Ohio State, 123, and then you go in and you top it all off with his teammate Will Howard, who honestly, Will Howard, if I had to take a dark horse quarterback that might be pretty fucking good in this draft, who was drafted really late, Will Howard might be the guy.
Yeah.
I like that guy a lot. I think he's a good fucking quarterback, and to take a quarterback in the sixth round that might start for you, not bad.
Yeah, and he's a guy that I think will be good for him. I mean, he's gonna have DK Metcalf and Deontay Johnson, or not Deontay Johnson. Jesus, Christ. I'm so far behind in my Steelers.
Yeah, yeah.
Steelers,
Skinny's like Deontay Johnson.
George Pickens, sorry, uh, yelling at him like, "We need the ball." So whoever gets them the ball is gonna be quarterback at this point. Yeah, dude, watch Caleb Johnson. Like, I think Warren's been a pretty good running back for him, but he's not a take 70% plus of the snaps and
Here's the thing, Skinny. I'm gonna give some insider sales about fantasy draft. By the way, accept the pick, dude. I know you want to give me a pick 5, second round. Uh, it's a hell of a deal for you, hell of a deal for me.
yeah, okay.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Um, but um, I'm in between taking the running back that went to the Broncos, went to what's his face, Judkins, and Caleb Johnson for pick 5.
Well, you
One
better
of
hope.
them's gonna be there.
You better hope nobody takes them. You don't know
What
that.
do you mean?
Maybe they pass up on wide receivers.
Here's the thing, though. If they do, oh, that sucks. I'm just gonna take Tyler Warren. Oh, that sucks.
Tyler Warren at 5 is way like you realize who his quarterbacks are, right? I don't care what
They'll
mock
get a
drafts
good
say. I
quarterback
don't
in
care
there.
what his projections are.
They'll
His
get a good
quarterbacks
quarterback
are
in there.
fucking
Don't even worry
ass.
about it. If I have to take Cam Ward, I'd take Cam Ward. I wouldn't want to, but I would. I would. Here's the thing: they're not going to take running backs because you want to know who's going to be there. Oh, that sucks. You know who I'm going to have to take? Travis Hunter. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to
Yeah,
do it.
he's
Is
not gonna
all.
do shit for you either. Overrated.
I'll have to take McMillan.
Overrated.
Don't love it, but I have to do it. Like
You're
I
better
could.
off overdrafting Cam Ward.
Nah. I could take what's his face, and hope that the Steel or the Patriots just fucking hate what's his nuts.
uh,
Um,
uh, Henderson.
yeah, I could take Henderson. There's some decent picks in this
Yeah, you
draft.
have
You
fun
just
with
got.
that. I've been mock drafting my third round pick. It's been lovely, which I know
Here's the thing:
half
one of
the
the three is gonna be there.
half the players in third round probably won't even be there that even show up in the mocks because people are gonna overvalue and draft some people. So
Here's
at
the
this
thing,
point, I'm
Skinny
just like,
Judkins. What's his face? Johnson, or the guy, the R.J. Harvey for the Broncos is gonna be there at 5, and I'm gonna take one of them.
all right, you have fun with that.
I'm going to.
All
I'm
right,
gonna have double running backs. I'll be sitting there sipping on my tea and be like,
finishing
and then what's you go?
tanking the season again, trying to get the first pick next year.
Yep.
Because you
Yep.
guys are
Damn right.
bastards. Need to fucking put a rule in there. Uh, bitches. With that, we do want, as Iowa people, we are going to shout out our Iowa and Iowa State members that got drafted. Iowa State had Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, drafted to the Texans. Wide receiver
Oh
Jalen Long,
hell yeah.
drafted to the Texans. Call them
Hell yeah.
the Texans love the Iowa State wide receivers. They got Xavier Hutchinson too,
Oh
so
yeah.
three of their 6 to 7 wide receivers are going to be from Iowa State.
And you know
Quarterback,
it's crazy. They both might play.
all three might play.
Yeah. Well,
Both. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah,
yeah.
both. Yeah. I understand
Yeah.
now because they were well then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both might play a significant role. So
Definitely good. That'll be that would be interesting to see. Honestly, it's gonna be like which of those three? Because like it's like
pick
Alan
pick
Lazard too.
2.2 question mark?
It's like
Question mark?
which Iowa State receiver is gonna be the better receiver when it's all said and done.
We got a good Iowa State running back in the NFL. Why not have one good Iowa State wide receiver?
DB Darian Porter get drafted to the Raiders. He's a fast guy. I like him. Uh, Raiders needed the help, so he'll be clamping up Rasheed Rice
Clamping.
after he
Clamp.
gets suspended. Um,
Yeah, no shit.
and then offensive tackle Jalen Travis got drafted by the Colts. And then Iowa had running back Caleb Johnson drafted to the Steelers, which again I love. His teammate Yaya Black, defensive line, also drafted by the Steelers. So got two teammates heading to the same team too. Um, the offensive line, and then I think these are all like 6 round picks. Offensive line Mason Richmond to the Seahawks. Offensive line Connor Colby to the 49ers. And then tight end Luke Leckey is joining Higgins and Knoll on the Texans. So got some Iowa State players all on the same team. And then I think there's a couple that went undrafted that got signed on teams. I didn't look into that, so I don't know. But it was a good draft. That draft night was fun. I drank a whole almost gallon of apple pie.
Yeah, I was toasted. Skinny thought the screen froze, so
Yeah, dude. It was so. Did you ever go back and watch it?
yeah, I did. Brooke, I showed Brooke, and Brooke was losing it
Dude, it was so funny.
because I was just
Uh,
like this.
literally, I thought you froze. I was like, and then you like moved, and I'm like, oh, you're okay. um, and I went to work at 6:30 the next morning. I just slept in an extra like 45 minutes and then went to work. So that's all I needed to
Yeah.
function. Um, all right, I do have one question for you because I've been
Okay.
saving a lot of these, for our pod. Um,
Knock out a couple if you want to. Knock out a couple.
all right, all right. All right, we'll do one sports related, one non-sports related.
Okay.
Uh, if you could be the best athlete in any sport, what sport would it be?
Oh, obviously, football. Just because that's the sport I love. I mean, if it wasn't football, I'd be a bad motherfucker and be like a boxer or a UFC fighter, dude, something crazy. To be the best UFC fighter, you got to be one of the most dangerous people in the world with your hands.
Yeah, if you're looking for like money, you'd probably want to go boxing over UFC, unless you're
Yeah.
like, I guess if you're the best, you probably, I think boxing you probably make more, unless you're like I don't know, probably boxing.
You'd make a shit ton of money with boxing,
Yeah,
but I'd probably go UFC'd probably be cooler to be the best at than boxing. I mean, if I was a football, like 100%, like I'm a wide receiver by nature, but I'd be a quarterback, man. To be Tom Brady, could you imagine being on top of the world, making all the money he did and getting all the sponsorships and everything else that he
dude,
does and did?
talking about all the money he made, talking about Kirk Cousins made the same amount.
Hey, you live Kirky K alone, dude.
See, there's
There's
some.
so I never told you this though. So Kirk Cousins, one of the guys that worked for me, the welders, once I was working at my previous job, um, he uh, he was a caddy for Kirk Cousins
Oh,
up in northern Iowa. Yeah, I never said this on the pod or anything. And Kirk Cousins, so Kirk Cousins being himself, making all that money, making, robbing Minnesota of $84 million. Um, he how much do you think he gave the caddy?
for one round of golf, or like how, like, are what are we talking here? Like,
Yeah, like doing it for a whole, yeah, for 18 holes. What do you think that motherfucker's tip was?
let's go 5 grand.
No, no, the cheap fuck gave him $5. Kirk Cousins tipped him $5, dude. This man, he couldn't throw him 20, man. He couldn't throw him any money like that. No, he gave him $5 tip. I was like, Kirk, you're a bad guy, man. Isn't that crazy? Think about what $5 would be to him compared to you know what I mean? He could have given the guy $100 and it wouldn't have mattered.
A good rule is to tip 20 to 30% of the green fee, with a minimum of $40 to $50 for a single caddy.
Yeah, he gave him $5 to assist.
Well, and like think about where they probably were playing. Yeah, I mean, $40 to $50 probably would have been been the more.
Yeah, he gave him $5. I was like, Kirk, you can take that $5 and shove it up your ass.
Oh man, that's fucking hilarious,
Isn't
dude. That's
that
a
crazy?
great
I forgot
story.
to tell you
That, oh
that.
man,
I
just
couldn't
as
imagine.
that Kirk's a great guy thing. That story really kind of makes you put it in some perspective.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, the dude was making millions and millions of dollars and he was driving his mother's van, so for years, and then it got hit. Then he stopped driving it. Then he started getting too big for his britches.
Yeah, $5, dude. That's awesome. Uh, so I was trying to think of sports that like you could be almost the laziest at and still make a fuck ton of money. Like golf, being the best at golf. Like if I'm just the best, I'll just go play golf every now and then go play some tournaments. You don't gotta play every year. You just if I know I'm gonna win tournaments and win, it's not like crazy money, but you're making decent money. A lot of sponsorships, a lot of high end sponsorships,
Yeah, that's fair.
Nike, like all that shit. Like
Michelob Ultra, dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, But then like I don't know, it, just like boxing would be good for like the money, but like again, like you got to take a beating, even though you're the best, you're still gonna get hit. Do you like
Bro, you're still the best though.
yeah, like
Dude,
football?
dude, if you were think about if you were like John Jones, bro.
No, no, best soccer player. Holy fuck! Like Mbappe and all those guys are signing fucking Saudi Arabia type money for billions of dollars. Might as well fucking go do that, right?
I
And
guess.
it's one and soccer's like the second most popular sport in the world. So you like you'd be super well known. I'd probably go soccer. I'd go soccer. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'd be
no.
the I'm probably the worst fucking soccer player you'd ever probably see on a field. But if I was the best, I'd be soccer. The amount of fucking
Skinny.
stardom you'd have and money you could make, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I'll go sign some Saudi Arabian checks as much, even though I'd fucking hate probably living in living there. But
Gotta do what you gotta do then, Doug.
all right, last one. How many fourth graders do you think you could fight all at one time?
How many fourth graders could I fight at one time?
Yes.
Oof. I think I could take on 50 fourth graders at once, man.
50?
I think I could take on 50.
What, fourth grade, you're like 8? Something like that?
10? 10?
Dom's in
10.
7th and he's 12. So 11.
But he at high end, he could be 13.
Yeah.
So 13, 12 at sixth grade, 11, 10.
Yeah, so 9,
9 to
10.
10.
Yeah.
9 to 10. Yeah. No, dude, I would fucking beat the hell out of those 100. If it's to the
100
death,
now?
dude. Oh no, 50, 50. Sorry.
Damn, I was going to say, Jesus Christ.
50. I'm sitting there throwing wild punches at these fifth graders.
With my stamina and my weight, give me like 17 and then I'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna lay down now, I'm tired.
Yeah, I think I could take them. 10-year-olds, bro? Yeah, sure. Now they got if you're talking about like 14-year-olds, I don't got too many 14-year-olds. I mean, 14's too close. But 10, dude, I'd be bodying him. I'd be giving him the people's elbow, dude. Just throwing crazy punches, man, everywhere.
Just fucking run out with your arms out and just spearing them on both sides,
Yeah, spearing them,
clotheslining and
clotheslining, yeah.
my stamina would just kill me. I just lay on like I could probably lay on about 3 or 4 of them, and then the other like 12 would have to.
They start children of the corn in your
Oh
ass, dude.
fuck, probably now.
Yeah,
Once you get to like that 15 to 17 area, I'm probably fucked.
that's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No,
No.
I'm just ready for fantasy. I'm ready for our rookie dynasty draft. Is Genti going first overall in there?
I'm gonna assume most dynasties he probably is.
I think so too. He worries me a little bit because there's a lot of tread on those tires. That's why I kind of am okay with someone like a Marion Hampton, or a honestly Henderson, and I'm not saying they should be first overall, but Henderson and Judkins split carries in college, so like
Yeah.
that's attractive. That's attractive for an NFL scout, an NFL team, future fantasy football, dynasty league. So
Yep. I'm gonna keep studying on my second to last pick in one draft and my third round pick in the other one. Just so hard because
no, you could have a second round pick next or this year.
we'll see. I get
I
to hang.
I got you, bro.
I get to hang out with Austin for a week upcoming. So I'll pitch him to him for his first round pick somehow. Just watch.
Nah,
It'll
he's
happen.
gonna give his first round pick to me, dog.
Jameson Williams and my third for his first. Seems like a fair trade.
Seems like
I don't even know where his
year
picks
high.
where his pick is, but
He's a
um
second pick.
Oh, he
No,
has the
he won
second.
the league. He won the league. He won the league. He's
Oh,
12th pick.
so he'll be the last pick. Okay. Yeah, Jameson will move up 5 spots with a Jameson Williams and a third. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll
You
throw in
take
the
the second.
I'll throw in Jordan Travis too, even though he retired.
Yeah, Jordan Travis retiring out of nowhere, man.
Well, yeah, that was
R.I.P. Jordan Travis.
that
It was
dude
kind of
had
crazy.
him in both dynasty leagues, so I was really banking on the he'd learn from Aaron Rodgers and do
I
the
didn't know
thing.
that there was. Did you know that there was talks about Brees Hall getting traded?
Yes, I saw that.
I did not know that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Don't love that. Well, I do kind of love that
the
because,
asking price probably was too much, is my guess,
yeah, I'd imagine.
for the
But
running back position for trades. But all right, thanks for joining us, guys. Like I said, we'll live stream a couple of our dynasty drafts, other drafts. Won't really have any more official podcasts until probably late July, early August now. So,
yeah, alrighty. Like and
hopefully,
subscribe.
of course,